Bonjour, and welcome to all of you comic book geeks, readers and collectors. Welcome. And this is going to be, I don't know if this is going to be an ongoing series. I'm going to create a new little playlist off to the side there about books. Yeah, I know it's comic books I talk about, but these are books about comics. And every few weeks they do tend to pile up. But I think I get some interesting stuff, otherwise I wouldn't buy it, would I? So without further ado, what I'm going to do this time around is I'm going to show you what books I'm going to not review, because they're just all great stuff, but just maybe of interest to, and I'm going to do it in the order of their kind of publication history. So first up is good old Frazetta, a lovely slipcased edition, and this is only of his comic book cover work. So you haven't got all of your, well, you have got your Death Dealer and all that in there because they was on comic covers, weren't they? But I've got, all the history. I've got Icon about the history of his, all the big stuff. But I thought that was a really interesting look, especially at the early stuff that you don't often see. We all know about Death Dealer and all the others. I mean, they've even got a statue. You can't really see. I forget what it's called now. There's a Frazetta statue, and I've got the Death Dealer statue. So I'm a big Frazetta fan, and that's a really nicely constructed book with some really interesting odd bods in there. So that's good. Second volume of this, I think I did the first volume in my other book. If I didn't, then apologies, but we're going to have a little look at some of Richard Corben's artwork here, and gloriously coloured. And I need to get the name right. Now I'm following him on Threads, but it is Jose Villarrubia. I hope I've got your name right. Absolutely loved the colouring on this. My God, I think back in the day I only ever saw this in black and white. I'm thinking, so that it's even more of a treat. I either saw it in 4-dot colours or black and white. So gorgeous. This was a weird one. Now, I'm a Moebius fan, so like I say, I'm starting out at the 50s with Frazetta and getting to kind of late 60s, 70s with this stuff. I'd never seen this stuff before, and once I bought this book, I kind of realised why. This is mad as a box of frogs. End of story. I'll show you why. But it's glorious Moebius artwork, so what can I say? Another art book. Rachel Terry Dodson, great stuff from them. I just love their art. I mean, I know, I don't know if they have many detractors, to be fair, but they don't seem to be up there in the legendary heavens. But I've always enjoyed their artwork. A little one that I picked up yesterday, because I haven't got these issues anymore, and the film's coming out, so I had to get me a bit of Craven, The Last Hunter action, and we'll have a little flick through, just for a giggle. And the star of the show for me is this, and I had no idea what I was letting myself in for. I'd never heard of the artist, the writer-artist of this book. I don't know where it was published before, whether it was in heavy metal in Europe or whatever it was. But this is a wonderful tale of three different characters thrust into a dystopian future. But it's such a heartwarming tale. You could almost describe it as a young adult story. And there's nothing wrong with that when they're told with such passion and heart and creativity. And this, for me, has been one of the best things I've read in a while. And it's a comic, and it's a book. So after the scroll, we're just going to have a quick rummage. It won't be so much of a deep dive, but just to give you a little flavour of all of those books. Well, and I hope you enjoy it. Join me after the scroll. Okay, so first up, to be fair, is the star of the show. World's best comics cover artist. Whether you agree or disagree, it is hard not to have firstly heard of the name Frazetta and the legend that he is as an illustrator. You know, look at just straight away. Look at this stuff. If you, I suppose, if you, I like the way they've done it decade by decade. I suppose that's the most. But what I did enjoy was this his early influences when he started out, and he was starting out in I think it might have even been the 40s, you know. Oh, well, this is a comic from the 40s, but no, I think it was probably the 50s. So that's his influences right there. Oh no, here we go, 1947, actually unpublished, but this is, so 1947, he got his first job in the comics business for Fiction House, the story called The Cat People. But look at how ready his line work is. I mean, he's obviously doing it in a certain style of comics of the time. But that's what I find the most interesting. And stuff like, you know, Ghost Rider, you can't tell that's a Frazetta cover. Not yet. None of these. Look at this stuff. None of this stuff in the 50s you could tell was Frazetta. No, not even this. You know, I defy anyone. I mean, when you know, you know. But I could spot the later Frazetta stuff when we know he's got, this is almost very Dave Stephen-esque. But you can tell he's still getting his hand in the game. You know, look at these legs that aren't quite right. You know, the later Frazetta just wouldn't be doing that. Here we go. This is more like it. This is mad stuff. Mad stuff. So now I think we start, when he gets onto Thunder, now I think we start. I've never heard of this White Indian comic before that he's done. Like I say, it's all interesting stuff. I won't go through every single page of this book, so don't worry if you're not into Frazetta, and I will chat to it. This is where it starts. I've tried to get some of these covers. I can never, as soon as it's got a Frazetta cover on it, this stuff, it's so much dynamism he brought to one picture. There was just always something going on. Always. I mean, even, you know, stuff like this, like, you know, the second or third alien coming down, just to shadow him like that. It's just little bits like that that I love. These covers were great. The Buck Rogers ones. Look at that again. You know, silhouetting it all, but just one leg coming out into the light. That's one of the most famous covers, I think, that we know for Frazetta. I will go through these because this, I'm thinking, look at this, beautiful. Beautiful cover. And that's the one, isn't it? That's the one. That was and that's the image they use on the slipcase as well. And it was one that he was particularly proud of for his inking when I read through this, or, you know, flipped through it earlier. Johnny Comet, we all know. I mean, and then he done, you know, this is obviously old, what's his name, from the Beatles. And then we get on to the eerie stuff and creepy. And this is where he's really getting a name for himself, isn't it? Look at this lovely stuff. Look at that. You know, just in one image to sum up the character. I mean, come on. That takes some doing. I've got these Blazing Combats. I was tempted to get them out and, you know, compare. But the printing, the reproduction is so glorious in this magazine. It's not even worth doing. And it's not like they're showing you the original artwork and I can compare it to the magazine. But look at how much is going on. You know, the bullets splashing into the water, the bullet casings coming out in the machine gun. Just one image. Bit of creepy there. And the next blazing combat. Look at how much is going on in this. Look, the bullet hole is still hot. The hot lead that killed this soldier. And the trooper here, look, with the cigar. Oh, what he's bayoneting a German. Love it. Absolutely love it. To pack so much action into one square formatting illustration. These are all the famous ones as well. Another wicked blazing, you know, all these. I mean, quite a controversial cover when you think about it. All the massacred V, or not massacred, but all the shot VC in the foreground while his machine gun is still smoking. Yeah, I like the little bit of camouflage sticks in his in his helmet as well. That's, you know, a good bit of sci-fi. Classic Frazetta, I would call that. And just that one, I think there's one more after this actually. But look again, looks like I've seen that Saving Private Ryan actually. That's quite interesting. The colouring they put on it. When Apple Comics done the reprints, by the looks of it, that's marvellous. And then again, you know, all the classic stuff. I must have just been 4 issues of Blazing Combat then, but these eerie covers as well. You know, this is what, yes. You know, these are the illustrations that made his name. Very, always done a sultry maiden, for want of a better word. So we're talking late 60s here with this stuff, and then look, bosh. They get him on Vampirella #1. Wonder how much the original of that would be now. And the way he's done this kind of effect in the background. Of what is this, an orb, or is it the moon, or, you know, what is it? Like if you're coming for Vampirella for the first time and you know nothing about this character, I mean, if that ain't going to get you to pick up a magazine, I don't know what. And again, more sultry maidens. You know, probably not the most politically correct nowadays, but who cares? Nice, just what a simple image. But that word sums it up. For me, it does anyway. For me, but what I'll do is I'll flick forward through the creepies and eeries into just to give you another little bit of a flavour, into the modern era. You know, we're in the 90s now. And yes, they allowed that, didn't they? Oh, didn't we love this kind of stuff in the 90s, guys? And oh, there's the Death Dealer. I've got a statue of that image in the back. I don't think it's high enough up because I've got to keep it at the bottom. So I suppose the view are. I don't know why they did this. Image excluded at request of Holly and Heidi, because they tell you what it is here. Oh yeah, original oil painting sold at auction for 1.7 million. So yeah, this is all iconic stuff. All iconic stuff. There we go. A bit more the modern bits that you might know a bit more of. So I will leave Frazetta. A great, obviously, like it would take me an hour to go through that page by page, guys. So I thoroughly recommend that. If you're in the market for such a book. Richard Corben. I mean, you might know his name from maybe the most recent thing I can think of that he did. So this is the second volume of his character, Den, and it's kind of like a science fiction, insane journey that this guy goes on. But look, what I've enjoyed the most about this, like I said in the introduction, is that look at the colour. Look at the, you know, what Villa Rubia. Look at what a stunning reproduction. And I'm sure I might have seen this in a fanzine or something back in the day in black and white. I don't know why I think that. I think there's 5 volumes of this. I can't wait for them. Look, the beautiful stuff. But obviously this was designed to be in colour. Obviously it was painted in colour, so I'm not saying that, you know, this has been coloured. Nevertheless, it needs reproducing. And yes, it is a bit risque for the time. I think Den has his bits out for half the story. So, and it was Corben's style. And you may know it from the Hellboy story. What was it called? The Witch, the one they're making the new film of. Corben, Mike Mignola wrote the story, but it was Corben that done the artwork, and that's the most modern thing I can think he's done. Beautiful stuff. I mean, this looks like mixed medium stuff, to be fair, because this doesn't look like whatever he's doing all this in. It doesn't look like he's using the same. So anyone who knows, please let me know. But as you can see, this is just gloriously. Its feet firmly set in the 70s, as you can see with the nudity and the. You know, what a glorious page for me to just turn. It's beautiful stuff. It's lovely stuff. Yeah, very trippy. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, I haven't read through this yet. I'm only at the beginning of this story, so because I can't remember this back in the mist of time. So I'm just literally here to show you the artwork, guys. I can't give you any kind of summation of the story, and I will leave it there. I mean, this kind of stuff. Look how these pages crackle. Oh, I love it. I just love it. Yeah. Well, there we go. Den, Volume 2. Next book I picked up, well, this one. We all know Moebius from the Incal and Blueberry and, you know, all the usual suspects. Now, this is one of his earliest works. And, yeah, like it says here, the following story, or rather one might say this non-story, it is a non-story, which does make it makes it hard going unless you are just a Moebius fan. Yeah, I think that's the best I can say about it. And I'm not slating it, but I wouldn't. Where I recommend Den for its story, and I recommend obviously Frazetta just for the pure artwork, this is for aficionados only, honestly, for completists. Look, stuff like this, you haven't got a clue what's going on, not really. And it is all beautiful stuff, and it does just give you an insight into how his weird and wonderful mind worked, to be fair. So no, I enjoyed it. I mean, look at little details like that, like a hole in his shoe. Little bits like that I'm going to enjoy, but I can't say that unless you are a hardcore Moebius fan, you're going to get anything. None of it makes sense, and I did try. Yeah, it's just none of it makes sense, but nevertheless, and I think this carried on over quite a few years actually as well, this stuff, so you can see a little bit of a change in the art style. Not much, but a little, you know, pure. It looks like a stream of his thoughts on paper, to be fair. Stuff like this, you know, just seems like a stream of consciousness through his pen onto paper, and yeah, called the Major, like, you know. Yeah, I should have got him to draw geekyOlhog actually, shouldn't I? Rather than me. Here's some nice colour bits at the back. There we go. See, now this is the Moebius we've come to know and love. This is now his refined style, his modern style that we know. So like I say, I've enjoyed it just to be a completist, but I thought you might be interested to see how mad and bonkers he actually was. not so much bonkers, but still beautiful, are Rachel and Terry Dodson. They have done some spectacular artwork over the years. Yeah, all very, very pop culture comic based stuff. You know, this isn't like Frazetta in the Hall of Fame of illustration and all that. You know, Terry and Rachel are just firmly and squarely in comics, and I love them for it. I'm trying to think of when I would have first come across their work. I thought it might have been in here, but it would have been earlier than this. You know, look at this stuff. Beautiful. And it's all about the women with their artwork. And again, I know that isn't a very politically correct statement, but they just draw beautiful women. Sorry, it's just and that's a fact. That's not me being a lecherous old hog. You know, who draws a better Catwoman? And I like the way they've gone through the stages as well and shown you all the techniques, like all these little X's, you know, all got to be inked in and stuff like that. So yeah, I've loved this stuff right from the pencil. And they do, Rachel and Terry do go through, like, I love these as well. They do go through the process of how they, you know, how they work together and the history of how they started, and etc. etc. So yeah, really enjoyed this little look. Might have been the Joker, the Harley Quinn covers actually, where I was first introduced into their work. Like I say, they are good at the ladies. Marvellous. Again, I like how they show you the style from the beginning to the end. It might have been the covers to. Did they not do the covers? Well, it might be in the art actually. To the Black Cat mini-series they did. Does it mention there? You know, this is all good, but it's definitely, I love it. It's definitely the women where they excel. That's nice. I like that. And their work really crackles in colour as well. They're not one of those artists that whose work works extremely well in black and white, or a bit of Star Wars here. It's got to be in colour. And there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean that they're lesser. I like it. What a glamorous Vampirella. Count Chocula. And then, you know, some of the advertising work they've done, obviously. You know, it's nice to see some of the bits that you wouldn't have seen. I mean, I wouldn't have seen stuff like this unless I bought the book. And really, Bombshell's sketchbook collection. And, you know, I wouldn't have seen this stuff unless I bought this book, but I'm a fan of their artwork. So that's exactly what you want. Some of their comics pages, interior artwork. I don't know if this is from Adventure Man, is it? I didn't go much on that, I've got to say. I did buy it, but anyway, we save that for the comic reviews, don't we? Yeah, Adventure Man. Yeah, not a good. It looks nice, but so there we go. Rachel and Terry Dodson. And just for a little bit of fun, this I picked up the other day. My local comic shop, the old mate Paul, got in some older graphic novels, you know, bought in a collection, and this was on the top, and I thought, I've got to have this. Just to have a little look back in the day. The Craven films coming out, look. J.M. DeMatteis, you know, kind of defining the character. This is what defined him back in the day. Black suit. Just for, you know, just to show a few dramatic, and it was dramatic stuff, to be fair. Old MJ there in trouble. Classic. Obviously a classic cover. Kind of can't wait to leaf through this before the film, actually. Another classic. To be fair, all six, I think it's 6 issues. I think they're all classics. Look at this. Lovely. It was Zek, wasn't it? It was Mike Zek. Yeah, it must have been a cover, mustn't it? Yeah, Mike Zek. Of course it was. Don't know why I doubted myself there. But yeah, lovely stuff. Just a quick little look. And then this bad boy. This one stole my heart. I was away for a few days and I'd never heard this before. Just took a chance on it because I really love this art style. It's not quite manga. It's a sci-fi story. You've got, this is one of the main spaceships in it, but they've just, you know, put that there. And straight in, there's no intro. This Guillaume, Singelin. I just love his art style. And these are humans, and it's not a, I don't know, I love also, just quickly, the format. I just love the way they rounded off. There's something about it that's unique. And every single page is so detailed. Every single panel this guy does is so detailed. Everything. He does not leave a single panel blank, the guy. I mean, obviously it's no good doing a detailed background on a panel like this, but you can see what I mean about a brilliant artist. Absolutely sensational comic book artist. Here we go. And we're on alien planets here. We're not on Earth. These are obviously, we are talking about humans because they meet aliens later on. And it is set in a dystopian future, as you can see, and it's all about, you know, space stations and growing plants and trying to survive. Here's our main characters, or the groups. Here's the groups of our main characters. And I just like this kind of art style. I just really do. But every single character is distinctive. Here's one of our main characters who's a mercenary. In the beginning of the story, we follow her journey, Kamina. And look at this. This is Jisung, one of the other main characters. There's 3 of them. And it just follows their journey through space, really. That's the best way I can describe it. Just wonderfully told. There's just nothing missing on any single panel. Nothing at all. And I hope that it's just a beautiful story. It's a heartwarming story. That's what I really enjoyed about it most. Although it's set in a dystopian future and you want a bit of fighting and you want a bit of conflict and you want a bit of space action like this, nevertheless, it was just a heartwarming story. This is a monkey that's been experimented on in one of the space stations that a corporation has rented space on, but because they're not under Earth law, they can do what they want, and that's where it all kicks off from, basically. Yeah, look, we're on another alien planet here. Look where the security turns up. Basically, these security corporations can do what they want as long as they're protecting corporations' profits. So you can see where the book is set and where our heroes are within it. A thoroughly great read, and this was not expensive. And I know, let's just have a quick look. There you go, guys. That's all the information. Magnetic press. Yeah, the conquest of space has lost its mystery when corporations attack the great beyond, etc., etc. So yeah, magnetic press, 619 label. I don't know if any of this information will be any good for you. If you can chase up your local comic book shop for this, if I've kind of sold it to you, which I hope I have actually. Out of all the books I've shown you, obviously if you haven't got Last Hunt, that's going to be easy to find. Moebius, Frazetta, you know, they're all quite niche. This is a class act and it's only 2 or 3 weeks old. So run out and get it or order it and tell me Tell me what you think. Tell me if you've enjoyed it as much as I did. Thoroughly stonking read. And if you have stayed with me that far, I thank you very much. Thank you if you're here from Threads. You're one of my Threads friends and you're one of my sexy subscribers. You know I love you all. And until next time, I will bid you all adios.